Hey you, what's been happening? We're back at Mainstream Cryptos to discover what's been up or down in the last week. Let's dive straight into our 15 top news items for today. Well, what are you waiting for? Number one. First up, we have some news on the FTX goings on. The Alameda CEO and FTX executive plead guilty to charges. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams announced on Wednesday night that former Alameda Research CEO Caroline Ellison and FTX co-founder Gary Wang had pleaded guilty to charges related to FTX's demise. Williams stated that the two are cooperating with investigators. Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) and Commodity Futures Trading Commission (CFTC) also charged the two, alleging that Ellison tricked the price of FTT, an exchange token produced by FTX, at the command of exchange founder Sam Bankman-Fried. The complaint reads, "Given their involvement in the fraudulent scheme outlined herein, defendants knew or were reckless in not knowing that these statements to investors were false and misleading, and that they were important to FTX's investors." In addition, the FTX founder has been detained. Sam Bankman-Fried was found this month in the Bahamas. He is currently being extradited to the United States. In his statement, Williams acknowledged that the FTX founder was in FBI custody and would appear in court as soon as possible. Things are moving quite quickly, and quite frankly, I'm looking forward to what Sam Bankman-Fried is going to say when he testifies. It should be interesting. Number two. The SEC General Counsel Dan Berkowitz is to step down in January 2023. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission announced that Dan Berkowitz will step down from his General Counsel position as of the end of January 2023. The current SEC Principal Deputy Counsel, Megan Barbaro, will replace Berkowitz upon his departure. Berkowitz noted that his departure from the SEC was because it was time for him to, I quote, "pursue new and different challenges and opportunities." And now for some juicy information that has been dissected by many. Although it may not be directly related, Berkowitz recently had dinner at a luxury Indian restaurant in Washington, D.C. with several FTX executives, including the now disgraced former CEO, Sam Bankman-Fried, according to emails seen by the Washington Examiner. If there ever were a scene to conjure up a vision of a DC rigged towards corrupt insiders at the expense of the little guy, it would be difficult to top this one. Not long before its collapse and a raft of fraud charges, Sam Bankman-Fried and his gang were wooing one of their would-be regulators, no doubt trying to manipulate the regulations to their advantage. This was a comment by Michael Chamberlain, director of Protect the Public's Trust. No doubt there's some ground to be suspicious, but based on the amount of conjecture that has been piled onto this one dinner, I have to laugh. I mean, after all, who doesn't love a conspiracy theory? And we're moving on to number 3. The SEC again. What have they been doing? They're targeting crypto auditors seeking greater scrutiny. That sounds a little bit backward if you ask me. The SEC is stepping up its scrutiny of crypto auditors as it continues to wage war against the digital asset industry. In the latest and a recent torrent of anti-crypto articles, the Wall Street Journal has reported that there will be more dissection of the work that audit firms are doing for crypto companies. According to the financial regulator, there is concern that investors may be getting a false sense of security from these crypto audits. Paul Munter, the SEC's acting chief accountant, said, "We're warning investors to be very wary of some of the claims that are being made by crypto companies. It seems that crypto companies can't win when it comes to American regulators. They get jumped on for not being audited, and they get jumped on again when they produce proof of reserve reports. It is unlikely the SEC will quit until the industry is quashed or converted into traditional finance and banking." I somehow doubt that either of those is going to happen. What is the alternative? Do you have any ideas? If you have an opinion you'd like to share or discuss, just pop a comment down below. And while you're at it, don't hesitate to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. Hey, why not? What can you lose? And we are going to move on to take a look at number 4. On pretty much the same topic, Thor token creators have come under SEC crosshairs for their 2018 ICO. Thor Technologies' 2018 initial coin offering, known as ICO, according to the Securities and Exchange Commission of the United States, SEC, was an unregistered securities sale in violation of the Securities Act of 1933. The SEC has filed a lawsuit against Thor Technologies and its co-founder and CEO, David Chinen. In the months of March and May 2018, Thor Technologies marketed Thor to raise $2.6 million from 1,600 investors. Of the 1,600 investors, about 200 were American citizens, but not all of them were approved. In the litigation, the SEC argued that the ICO presented a securities sale. According to the SEC, the tokens had no utility at the time of the offering. The company shut down in 2019 after it was not able to gain traction and achieve commercial success. Piece of news number 5. Ooh, goody. Let's talk about Elon Musk. His latest Twitter following apparently shows that he's no longer interested in Bitcoin. Prominent American stockbroker Peter Schiff said that Elon Musk's recent Twitter following suggests the Tesla executive is gradually losing interest in cryptocurrencies. Schiff noted in a tweet today that he's noticed Musk following the famous silver proponent Wall Street Silver on Twitter. According to Schiff, the development suggests that Musk may be interested in protecting his wealth with the precious metal following the meltdown of his cryptocurrency holdings. I quote Schiff, "I just noticed that Elon Musk's last follower is Wall Street Silver. Maybe the chief twit is tired of watching his Bitcoin and other crypto holdings melt down and is finally getting interested in protecting his wealth with real money." The chief economist and global strategist at Euro Pacific Capital said Musk might also follow him for investment tips on traditional financial instruments, including gold. It bears mentioning that Schiff is a significant cryptocurrency skeptic who does not believe any good would come from the named asset. Whenever there is a crash in the crypto market, Schiff seizes the opportunity to troll cryptocurrency investors. Some of his victims in recent times include his son, Spencer Schiff, El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele, and MicroStrategy co-founder Michael Saylor. Recall that Elon Musk's Tesla disclosed a $1.5 billion investment in Bitcoin in February 2021. However, the company's Bitcoin holdings slumped massively this year following the collapse of the Terra ecosystem. In July, the popular electric car manufacturing company revealed it converted 75% of its Bitcoin holdings into fiat. Despite the sale, Tesla remains one of the largest Bitcoin holders. According to data from Buy Bitcoin Worldwide, Tesla holds a total of 10,725 Bitcoin, worth around $180.38 million at the current exchange rate. Let's take a look at piece of news number 6. The Brazilian president signs off on national crypto rules. President Jair Bolsonaro of Brazil has approved a bill of crypto industry regulations, most recently passed by the nation's Senate and Chamber of Deputies. The bill, signed into law on Thursday, will take effect in 180 days, by which time crypto companies in the region must adapt to the new rules. Having passed through Parliament in late November, the bill would make it possible for crypto firms to register in the country and establish physical offices. These include firms that offer crypto financing services or those that allow for the conversion of crypto assets into national currencies. It also paves the way for a new federal agency that will regulate digital asset firms and establishes a virtual service provider license. Under the law, digital assets deemed to be securities will be overseen by the Brazilian Securities and Exchange Commission, while others will be regulated by an entity yet to be established. Let's take a look at how this will affect the adoption of Bitcoin in the region. Piece of news number 7. Brazil legalizes crypto payments, setting the stage for greater Bitcoin adoption. Jair Bolsonaro, the president of Brazil, has signed a bill that legalizes and regulates Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as a payment option in the country. It is stated that, for the purposes of this law, a digital representation of value that can be traded or transferred by electronic means and used to make payments or for investment purposes is considered a virtual asset. Well, hooray for cryptocurrency. And we're moving on to our 8th piece of news. Bitcoin retail investors now hold 17% of total Bitcoin supply. But is this good news? Bitcoin retail investor numbers are on the rise. These smaller investors have less purchasing power, but with so many new entrants into the market following the 2020 to 2021 bull market, their collective purchasing power has grown alongside the total amount they hold. Retail investors now hold 17% of the total supply. This subset of investors has grown by almost 50% in the last 2 years, from around 12 to 17.3%. Interestingly, this Bitcoin holder base had seen a significant decline at the start of November. This coincides with the collapse of the FTX crypto exchange, taking a good number of investor coins down with it. However, the recovery has been swift and retail holders are back to building their balances back up. Is this good news for Bitcoin? The accelerated adoption rate has been good news for Bitcoin and was one of the main drivers behind the 2021 bull market. Looking back, the rise in retail holder numbers has always been good news for the digital asset. It propels the adoption of the cryptocurrency as well as helps to distribute the total supply to more holders. However, it is also important to take into account the current crypto market climate. The crypto winter is in full bloom, so the next bull market could still be another year away. Given this, adoption will likely help sustain the current price trend rather than trigger a rally. Nevertheless, the steady rise in wallets holding less than 10 Bitcoin shows more interest from the broader investor community. It also marks significant accumulation among smaller investors during this time. Piece of news number 9. Grayscale may liquidate 600,000 Bitcoin holdings following SEC opposition to ETF. Grayscale Investments may offer to buy up to 20% of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust (GBTC) shares. This is a move the company hopes will close the gap between GBTC's share price and the company's underlying Bitcoin holdings. Grayscale can't act independent of investors, however. The Wall Street Journal released a letter by Grayscale CEO Michael Sonnenschein, urging that Grayscale would consider issuing a tender offer should the Security and Exchange Commission and shareholders give their approval. Being a close-ended fund, GBTC shareholders can only liquidate their holdings on the open market. If the company cannot return GBTC shareholders' funds, it will continue to offer the tender until it's converted to an ETF. Sonnenschein wrote to investors, "In the event we are unsuccessful in pursuing options for returning a portion of the capital to shareholders, we do not currently intend to dissolve GBTC, but would instead continue to operate GBTC without an ongoing redemption program until we are successful in converting it to a spot Bitcoin ETF." Grayscale is currently embroiled in a lawsuit with the SEC after its application to convert GBTC to a spot Bitcoin ETF on June 29, 2022. The ETF conversion seems to be the only option. As it stands, Grayscale doesn't have a specific timeline for when it may explore other options apart from the ETF conversion. The lawsuit seems to be a long-drawn battle. Grayscale filed its opening brief against the SEC on October the 11th. In response, SEC filed a brief on December 13th, denying Grayscale's accusations that its rejection was discriminatory and arbitrary. The firm has until the 13th of January to respond. Afterwards, a 3-judge panel will be selected to listen to oral arguments and rule on the case. Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust has roughly 10.78 billion, or 633,000 Bitcoin, in assets under management. The fund has failed to meet its goal, and it's currently changing hands at a 48.8% discount to Bitcoin. That sounds like quite a painful situation. And we have arrived at number 10. XRP and Cardano are rejected by the Paxful founder. Ray Youssef, founder of Paxful, which is a peer-to-peer Bitcoin marketplace, recently took to Twitter to announce that he will not be adding three popular cryptocurrencies, Litecoin, Cardano, and Monero, to his platform. In the first tweet, Youssef laid out his rationale for rejecting these coins. We have Bitcoin and stables. To add the rest would be uncivilized, he explained. After receiving some pushback from people who were surprised he grouped Monero, a popular privacy coin, into the same list as Litecoin and Cardano, Youssef backpedaled in a later tweet. I apologize for putting Monero in the same breath as Litecoin and Cardano, he said. Still weren't added to a US company, but should have replaced with XRP instead. Youssef also made it clear that regardless of the outcome of any litigation between Ripple, a blockchain company linked to the XRP cryptocurrency, and the US Securities and Exchange Commission, Paxful will still not add XRP to the list of available cryptocurrencies. According to Youssef, he doesn't care what the XRP litigation result is. Number 11. Let's take a closer look at what has been happening with XRP. The XRP holder number has reached a major milestone of 4.5 million. According to XRPL services data, the number of XRP account holders has surpassed the milestone of 4.5 million, reaching a record high of 4,506,842 at the time of writing. In the 2 incomplete months since the end of October, the number of XRP holders has thus grown by 160,000 accounts. The growth in the number of XRP accounts, in addition to bringing new blood into the ecosystem and increasing its activity, is also leading to a small increase in the number of XRPs held in these accounts, and reducing their blocked number in Ripple escrow accounts. Number 12, and we're taking a look at Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu welcomes 10,000 new holders. Can SHIB keep up the momentum? In a time when cryptocurrencies across the space are marking a decline in support, Shiba Inu has added over 10,000 new holders in the span of just 2 weeks. That is quite impressive. This saw the total SHIB holders cross into the 1.26 million territory, marking more growth for the meme coin. In the last 24 hours alone, the number is up by 0.033%, according to data from Etherscan. Binance, the largest crypto exchange in the world by trading volume, recently released the data for the most watched cryptocurrencies on the platform, and Shiba Inu emerged in the top 3, alongside market leaders Bitcoin and Ethereum. Will SHIB price remain stagnant? SHIB's price has been quite unresponsive to all of the new milestones being hit. The holder base had been consistently climbing over the last 2 months, but the price of SHIB has not reacted positively in any way. Instead, developments on Shiba Inu seem to be disconnected from the price performance of its native token. With no meaningful movement following all of these, then it is possible that the meme coin will not be seeing any sort of recovery before the year runs out. It continues to trend just above $0.000008 as the bear market rages on. It is important to keep in mind that the total number of active Shiba Inu addresses currently sits below 5% of its total addresses. This means that there is a decreased activity for the digital asset, which could explain why there have been no positive reactions to the milestones. Overall, I think it's safe to say that the additional number of holders is a positive development. Or Shiba Inu. Piece of news number 13 for this week. The former BlockFi executive has been appointed as the head of Google's APAC Web3 division. Rishi Ramchandani, a former executive at the now defunct cryptocurrency company BlockFi, was recently hired by Google as the APAC Web3 lead. As per his recent LinkedIn post, Ramchandani is excited to begin his new position with the global technology firm. The primary focus of his work will be to expand Google's Web3 initiatives throughout the Asia Pacific. Number 14. The leading decentralized exchange Uniswap known as Uni, launches payments with credit card and bank transfers. The decentralized finance platform Uniswap is announcing that users can now buy cryptocurrencies on its web app using credit or debit cards and through bank transfers. The leading decentralized cryptocurrency exchange, DEX, is rolling out support for the new payments method in partnership with MoonPay, a fintech company that builds payment infrastructure for crypto. The availability of payment options varies depending on the region. Bank transfers, for instance, are only available for users in most of the US, Brazil, single European payments areas, and the UK. As centralized exchanges face increased scrutiny amid allegations that former crypto giant FTX misappropriated customer funds, Uniswap says self-custody is the safest option when investing in crypto. The platform says it is making self-custody more accessible. We have come to our last, but definitely not least, piece of news for this week. The Cardano stablecoin project is set to debut in January as the Ethereum rivals ecosystem develops. A decentralized finance, as DeFi, stablecoin project is gearing up for its debut on the Cardano blockchain early next year. In a new interview with Learn Cardano podcast host Peter Bay, head of the COTI, Shahaf Bargefen lays out what's ahead for the JED stablecoin project starting in January. He says, we kind of lay the groundwork for JED by signing over 40 partnerships with everything from major DEXs, decentralized exchanges, to trading protocols, NEFT marketplaces, launchpads, you name it. Now we're going to execute on all of these partnerships. So we're going to start with selected DEXs, with selected decentralized exchanges. I think there's going to be 3 of them that we're launching with, and they'll be part of the launch process. They'll give users substantial farming rewards for building liquidity. And we're going to start there and then gradually roll out to all of these platforms. He says JED Pay will also launch after the launch of the stablecoin, bringing more DeFi activity to the Ethereum rival blockchain. So guys, that was the news for this week. I hope you found it informative and helpful. If you have a spare 10 seconds in your life today, give us a like and a subscribe. It costs you nothing and it shows your support for our channel and helps us continue doing this. Have a great week in the world of investment and don't forget to be back next week for the latest updates.